All right, welcome into March, everyone. It is March of 1992. We're moving right along here in our 1990 series here on Iowa Plains View. And for the most part, things have gone well. We had that debacle with the horses, which I got to be honest, that cost me a lot of money. We're sitting at $53,000. However, I had to take out a $25,000 loan on top of our mortgage just to pay for operating costs this year. Now, selling throughout the winter went very well. Our cows are really producing milk. Our goats have now started producing milk as well. And our chickens are staying consistent with their eggs. So that's very good. We've had a lot of baby goats born. Now, we're not going to have a lot of goats to sell this first go around for meat goats, but moving forward, that number is just going to continue to increase year over year, so that's good. Same with our cattle. So part of why I had to take out a loan was I tore down the horse barn and put up a new feedlot for our fat cattle. That wasn't cheap, and it wasn't something I planned to do yet. Something I wanted to do, but I wanted to go another year or two before doing that, make sure, we actually had the finances. However, that debacle with the horses kind of made sure that wasn't going to happen. So with spending all that money, I went ahead and took out another $25,000 loan to cover our operating costs. Now, we still have corn and soybeans to sell yet. We haven't sold any of that, so that's a good thing. We're still selling milk. Our cows are really producing good, like I said earlier, so that's keeping us afloat. Our garden will start up here in 2 more months, so that'll be added finance. So we've got plenty of products to bring income in. The problem was I just spent money that I wasn't ready to spend, and that's kind of how life goes sometimes. The farm causes demands that you're not expecting. So we've got a very, very busy month ahead of us here in the month of March. I've definitely got some big plans for this farm. But first thing we got to do is get our chores completed here. We need to get this load of TMR up here into the barn that we're doing now. Our feedlot needs a load of TMR. And we have milk to sell for both the goats and the cows. We have fertilizer, seed, anhydrous, and all of that to buy yet. So we've got a lot of money that we're going to be making, and probably even more that we're going to be spending this month. Now I have big plans for expanding. Once we get back down into the yard here, I'll show you what we did for the new feedlot. The goat barn is a little different, and we're going to extend that field down there in the home place. And I've also decided the field up here, I would be better off cutting all these trees down and getting that tilled up and turning it into arable farm ground, as opposed to keeping it in the 10-year program. So that is also something we're going to be doing this month. So we've got a lot of tillage we need to get done, a lot of fertilizing, lime spreading. There's probably more work than I can get done this month, but we're definitely going to try and get it done. And as you can see, I took down that bin that was over here. I really honestly didn't have any use for it. It was, well, to be completely honest, kind of pointless, just taking up space there. So I do have some plans for down here in this spot on the farm to expand how we load the feed wagon, I guess would be the best way to put it. But we need to get this other load of TMR loaded here, get it over to our feedlot, and get those cattle fed. And I do believe we will also be moving some cattle from the barn to the feedlot this month as well. It's either going to be this month or next month. I got to double check, see if they're old enough to wean yet or not. You can see we're getting down there on hay. We did have a good hay sale this winter. Sold off 6 loads with 10 bales each. So 60 bales. We sold them at $135 a bale and made a decent little profit there. All right, we got this feed wagon loaded. We'll take this over to our feedlot cattle. Get them topped off. And yes, I'm still feeding them TMR. I want them to be as healthy and profitable as possible, so in order to do that, they still need to be fed TMR. And as we come around the corner here, you can see where our horse barn used to be. We now have a feedlot. So we've got 4 cattle in here right now, and like I said, there should be some to be moved over here either this month or next month. But we've got a whole lot of area now that we can expand into for farm ground now that we don't have the horse pasture there. And our sheep fence has gotten bigger, made that bigger so that there's more area for them to move around as our herd grows there for the goats. They needed more space, so we added to that fence, which was an expense. This feedlot was expensive. This cost, almost $40,000 just for this feedlot, so a lot of money spent without really making any. And I left enough room just in case. I don't know if we'll ever need it, but we might. There's enough room here to put in a second feedlot if needed. But I don't really think that'll be something that we need to worry about. But if you look over here, that fence line for the goats has gotten much, much bigger. Just about doubled how big it was to begin with. And there's a lot of baby goats out there running around, playing, having a good time. I gotta say, the baby animals in this game are absolutely fantastic. But now that we're done feeding our animals, we can go ahead and haul our milk products that we have to get into town here. So we'll start off with the cattle, or with the cow milk, and then we can move on to the goat milk, as that requires using the flatbed trailer. And after we sell that, we'll go ahead and pick up all of our fertilizer, lime, and seed that we need for this year, as we're going to be covering a lot of ground, so that is going to be a very big expense this year, unfortunately. But thankfully, we do have a lot of products to sell. All right, we've got 1,564 gallons of milk this month. So, like I said, our cows are really starting to really produce milk here, and we may end up having to upgrade our milk trailer sooner than I had originally thought. Don't think it'll be this year, but I figured it'd be, 8-9 years before I'd have to worry about it. But honestly, it might be next year that we have to worry about upgrading our milk trailer. So that is a pleasant surprise. But we'll get this hauled over here to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust accordingly so that we're making what we should make in March of 1992. All right, we're here at the creamery. We'll go ahead and get this sold off. All right, we definitely made a little bit too much here, so we'll go ahead and get this adjusted. All right, so we got that adjusted. That brings us to $56,435. So we're finally, I think, actually starting to, be a net positive on our milk here, which is absolutely fantastic. That happened a little bit sooner than I thought. So I can't complain about that one bit. Now we're going to head back, get the goat milk loaded up onto the flatbed and bring it into the creamery to get it sold. And then we're going to go buy our products down at the co-op. All right, we're getting pulled in here to the creamery. We've got 572 gallons of goat milk on here. And that sold fast and for way too much. So we'll go ahead and get this adjusted down. And I just figured the goat milk at $2.50 a gallon. A little bit more than the cow milk because it is kind of a specialty product. But very hard to figure out price on that for 1992. So I figured $2.50. Well, it's about 50 cents a gallon more. Seems all right. And that's what we're going to go with. So it should be $1,430. So we will go ahead and get that adjusted properly here. All right, so we got that adjusted. We're sitting at $60,010. So we're going to head down to the co-op and get all of our lime, seed, and fertilizer that we're going to need. Except for our anhydrous. We'll pick that up next month, but we do need a little bit of solid fertilizer and a lot of seed and quite a bit of lime. So we'll run down and get that picked up here. All right. As you can see, our pickup's weighed down, and we spent $19,310 on lime, seed, and fertilizer. Hopefully this is enough. I wasn't really sure how much lime to get, but thankfully lime's not overly expensive. But you can definitely see that pickup's squatting a bit. There's a lot of weight on this thing. So we'll go ahead and get this drug back to the home place here, and we can get started on doing our field expansions. Okay, well, I almost completely forgot. We have corn contract to fill here in the month of March. We sold our corn for $2.48 a bushel, and we're selling it all, every last kernel. So we've got, I think 5 loads, 5.5-ish loads of corn we got to get sold this month. Yeah, because we got 5 loads and a partial off the field and had a little left over from the year before. So yeah, we have just shy of 6 loads of corn that we got to get sold this month. So we're going to do that before we get into doing any of our tillage this month here. Man, I can't believe I forgot about that. That's a big penalty if you don't get that contract filled when you're supposed to. So that's priority number 1 right now, is get all of this corn hauled down to the co-op and get it all sold. All right, we've gotten 5 full loads hauled down here, and we've got this little partial. It's got 211 bushels on, so we'll go ahead and get this emptied out here and adjust the price by a lot. All right, so that 211 bushels equaled $523, not $47.90. So we'll get this adjusted here. All right, so we're at $50,523. I'm very happy with that corn sale. Honestly, just disappointed we didn't have more. But all in all, that's pretty good, especially for our first big corn harvest here in Iowa Plains View. So now we can head back and get started on our spring field work and expanding our big field and tearing out our tenure. All right, we got our chisel plow hooked up to the 1586 here. We're going to go ahead and drop this down. And we're going to extend this big field here at the home place, hopefully quite a bit. All right, we got all of this field expanded here. It looks absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to drop the chisel plow off here. We're going to go ahead and spread lime and fertilizer out here. And then I went ahead and called Grandpa, see if he would come out and help. And he's going to come out in a little while and run the cultivator for me. So we're going to go ahead and drop that right there. We're going to head down to the co-op, pick up the fertilizer cart, get it loaded with lime, and we're going to start spreading lime and fertilizer on this before we move up to the tenure ground to get it taken care of. All right, we got a fertilizer cart full, and we are going to spread lime across this entire field here. So it's about About to, it's about time due for a good, full coverage on the entire field. So we're just going to do the whole thing. And we're going to hit every field with lime this spring. Make sure that all of our fields are going to, produce at their maximum possible yield here. So this is going to take quite a while. This is going to take a lot of lime, and you can see just how big this field actually is now. We look across here, you can see this field got significantly bigger. It's very cool, very exciting. So we're going to go ahead, hammer out this lime, get switched over to fertilizer. We've already fertilized, a good portion of this field, so we don't need to fertilize the whole thing. We just need to fertilize what we just tilled up. But we definitely want to get lime across all of it. So fertilizer will go much faster than our lime will, but I'm really hoping we have enough lime. If not, it's not the end of the world. Lime's not that expensive, but every penny counts right now. We're down to $50,000, and we need to be very, very careful here. All right, we got the last of the lime that was sitting in our shed loaded, and we're going to finish loading up with our second cart here worth of lime. And we made one pass around the end rows and one pass down. And that's all the farther we got. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're definitely going to be short on lime and have to go pick up some more. Not the end of the world by any means, but, it's just adding to our field expenses here. So we'll get this loaded up, run this cart off. Hopefully, this will get us close to being done in this field, but if not, so be it. All right, we're loading up with our third cart full of lime. And as you can see, we've got a good portion of the field done. Got just a little small section left, but we're going to go ahead and fill the cart all the way up just to make sure that we will have enough, and then we can switch over to our fertilizer and fertilize what we just plowed up, and this field will be ready to be cultivated. All right, and with this, our lime is done in this field. So we'll go ahead and get this unloaded, switch over to our fertilizer, and get that little dab done in this field. And then Grandpa can come over and start cultivating that field for us. All right, I do believe 1,000 liters should get us covered here. So we'll run up here, get started on this field, and if it's not, no big deal. We obviously have more. I just don't want to load up more than we actually have to here. So we'll go ahead, get this fertilizer spread out here. And this field will be ready to be cultivated. And once it's cultivated, it'll be ready for planting next month. Well, Grandpa's running late, so I'm going to go ahead and knock this cultivating out here. And I'm not going to worry about doing the whole field since, we've already done a good majority of it. Just going to go over what we plowed. We don't want to, try and plant into plowed ground. We want a little better, smoother seed bed here. So I'm going to hammer this out, and hopefully Grandpa shows up by the time we're ready to, cultivate some other fields here. But perks of being retired, I guess. You don't necessarily have to show up if you don't want to. So I'm going to try and get this done as quickly as I can. It's already 12:30 in the afternoon here, and we've got a lot of field work to do yet. All right, I got this cultivating done here in our big field. We're going to go ahead and get this tractor parked. And I'm going to jump into our 1586. It's still got the spreader on it. And we're going to go back to spreading some lime. Get all of the lime spread. And then we have slurry and manure we need to get spread onto our cornfield. And we're also going to spread that on our new field that we're going to make in the 10-year ground. But first things first, need to get this lime done. So we'll head up with this, get that field spread here, and then we can jump back in the 4-wheel drive and get to spreading slurry and manure. Hopefully Grandpa shows up in time and I can make him do it since he didn't show up in time to do the cultivating in the big field. Alright, got our slurry spreader loaded here, and I had just enough lime to finish that field, so we do not have enough lime to get everything done that we need to get done here. So we'll have to go back to the store and buy some more lime. That way we can lime our tenure ground after we get it tilled up. But I'm going to go ahead, start over here, get our slurry spread out here. That way this field will be ready to be cultivated once this is done. Alright, well, Grandpa finally showed up, so he's running the 4786, you can see there in the background. And he's cultivating our field up there, now that we've got the slurry spread. So we're over here in our tenure ground. And I know in the game you can sell wood. However, around here, that's not a thing. We just pile it up, burn it. So since that's not an option in game, we're just, I'm going to use the lumberjack mod and delete all of these trees and bushes, and then we're going to go ahead and start tilling this ground up to turn it into farm ground. So for anybody that doesn't know, if you have your super strength on, this will just delete the trees and you can run fast. So any trees and bushes, just boom, gone. Makes it super easy if you're not a fan of doing wood, like I am not. So we're just going to run around this field, get all of these trees and bushes deleted here. That way we can start tilling everything up. Alright, we got all the trees and bushes deleted. So we're going to go ahead and start tilling this up and turning it into some crop ground. Now I do want to leave myself a bit of a headland all the way around here due to the fence and driveway being here, just so we're not running crop over. Turn on allow fields. And away we go. So we'll get this all tilled up here and turned into some crop ground. with this, plowing this field is finished. I'm very happy with this. Be a nice, decent sized little field here for, you know, the size of our equipment anyway, in our operation. And it looks like I need to fire Grandpa. Boy, he did not do a very good job there. So we'll get this put away. Well, actually, we need to spread lime first. But we're done with the chisel plow, so I am going to get this cleaned up, put away in maintenance. That way it's good to be stored. So there we go. It's $12 for cost. Not bad. We'll get it power washed up here, and then we can get it put away. We'll grab the lime cart and start spreading lime, and then continue on with our day here. It's already 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we still have anhydrous we got to put on yet today, so we're really pushing it here for time and what all we have to get done here. All right, we're hooked up to the fertilizer cart, but we have a problem. We don't have any lime. So I'm going to run down to the co-op, pick up some more lime, and then we can get finished up doing our field work here in the month of March so that we can be ready to plant in April. All right, well, believe it or not, the fertilizer cart is actually full of lime. For whatever reason, this thing just kind of glitches out once in a while and doesn't show that it's got anything in it. But it is full, and we're going to go ahead, get this field spread. Won't take very long. And then we can worry about spreading some slurry out here and getting one layer of fertilizer out here. And then we have to do our anhydrous yet this month yet too. So still plenty of work for us to get done this month. But this is a nice little, you know, addition here. And we will be planting this to corn this year. Both of our small fields will be corn. That big one will be soybeans. And for some reason, I'm like stuck. Interesting. But I didn't want to cultivate yet until we get the lime down. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to cultivate this. I'm just going to use the anhydrous tool. I'm just going to use the anhydrous toolbar to, you know, smooth this field out into a nice seed bed here. Little cheaty, yes, but one of the perks of Farming Simulator is I can take that little shortcut and save just a little bit of time. It's not something I'm going to do every time. It's just we are starting to run a little short on time today, so need to take the advantages when I can get them. All right, we got our slurry spreader hooked up here. So we'll go ahead and start fertilizing this field with some slurry. And once this is done, we'll take the fertilizer cart back, pick up the anhydrous toolbar and a tank. I do believe one tank should do both of these fields. It'll be pretty close anyway. And get our anhydrous on this afternoon. And boy, what a day. We really have expanded a lot. And it was definitely a lot more work than I had honestly expected. Alright, we got the fertilizer cart all cleaned up, greased up for the co-op, so we're going to take this back, grab our anhydrous toolbar tank, and get back. Now, there was 0% chance of rain this morning. However, there is now rain coming this afternoon and evening, so we really have got to kick it in gear here and get this anhydrous on before that rain starts. All right, we'll get the toolbar turned on, drop down, and we can start applying gas. And we need to get this done because it is supposed to start raining by 5 p.m. And it is already almost 3:30, so we got a lot of ground to cover and not a whole lot of time to do it. All right, we got this field done, so now we're going to head over to our tenure ground, get the anhydrous supplied there, and we've got just about an hour. You can see the sky is kind of starting to darken up here, so yeah, we're cutting it close, but once we get this done, we are officially done with our field work here in March, so we just need to make sure we beat the rain here. All right, we're officially putting on anhydrous here on our tenure ground, and this is very, very exciting. We added a whole lot of arable acres this year without spending, any money on new ground. Spent a lot of money this year, but nothing on new ground, so that's very, very good. All right, and with this, our anhydrous is finished. So we're going to go ahead, get this cleaned up, get the toolbar and tank taken back, get everything paid for, and come back home and clean up everything here at the home place. I've got stuff absolutely everywhere. Tractors that need cleaned, implements that need cleaned, products that need to be put away in the shed. So we're going to take care of all of that, and we're going to go ahead and call this an episode. So if you like what you're seeing, please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode.